Hi everybody. I wanted to take a few minutes today to show you some really handy software that Oracle provides for free to help with virtualization. So VirtualBox is a VM software that allows you to create virtual machines on your desktop or laptop. And this can be very handy as a developer because often you'll want to install many different types of software and you'll want to experiment with settings on that software. And you don't necessarily want to mess up your host machine registry settings and all that with installing and uninstalling software. And if you happen to mess that software up, it can be very difficult and meticulous and time consuming to uninstall and reinstall. So with virtual machines, you can take snapshots of a virtual machine state and revert back to it at any time if you just happen to mess something up in the middle of it. So very handy software to have, especially if you're going to be working with Oracle databases or other products like that. And it's really not related just to Oracle. So I'm just going to walk through on how you go about finding it, installing it today, and creating your own virtual machine. So I'm at virtualbox.org, which is where Oracle has set up a site to make this software available for folks. And you can see if I click the download button here that they have versions of the software that will run on Windows and on Mac and Linux and other operating systems. Now, I'm going to be showing you VirtualBox on a Windows 10 laptop today. I have used it on Windows 8 and 7 in the past, but I have not used it on a Mac, so I won't have anything to offer to you as far as that goes. But it should work just fine, and the other beauty of having virtual machines is that once you have the client software on your software on your desktop, you can pass copies of this machine amongst your friends, and it doesn't really matter what their underlying operating system is. It'll run the virtual machine without issue. So I'm not going to go through the download and install portion of that. That's all pretty standard, nothing too exciting there. I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to actually create a virtual machine today and put some software on it. So one thing about a virtual machine is it's essentially just like having a new computer, and for all intents and purposes that's what it is. The computer, the virtual machine, is really unaware of the host machine that it's running on, and so it needs its own operating system software. So obviously probably a lot of you are used to using Windows, but if you're going to get involved with enterprise grade software, in particular Oracle software, you're probably going to want to get familiar with Linux because it's kind of the operating system of choice in an enterprise deployment for Oracle software, because that's really what they prefer that you use. So I long ago bit the bullet and started learning how to use Linux. So the other beautiful part about Linux is it's also a open source software distributed freely by a number of people, one of them being Oracle. So I'm out here on the Oracle Technology Network, and I'm just going to click downloads here. And it's going to take me to a download page, and you see if I scroll down, there's this more downloads. I'll click on that. And then over here on the left hand side you can see this Oracle Linux and Oracle VM. If I click on that, it will take me to the Oracle Software Delivery Cloud, and I'm just going to go ahead and sign in there. Now another quick note here, in almost all cases when you're using Oracle software, I would recommend using either Firefox or Chrome. It just happens to work a little bit better than IE does. But you can try IE, in a lot of cases it'll work, but it just seems to have issues at particular times, and so I've always found that Firefox is the best way to go. So if I click sign in here, I'm just going to sign in with the username that I created in order to create an Oracle account, and you all should have done this as well to get your Oracle client download. So now when I sign in, it's going to take me to a screen where it'll allow me to, one, I'll need to accept a number of things from Oracle about what I can do with the software and all of that, and then it'll take me to a screen where I can actually search for the software that I'm interested in. So I'm going to select the Linux OVM and VMs here, and I'm just going to start typing Linux, and you'll see it gives me a whole slew of interesting things here. One that you may find interesting in the future is these VM templates for Oracle Linux. There's a number of pre-built virtual machine templates that Oracle builds where you can grab fully operational databases and other versions of software that they've already gone through the trouble of creating a virtual machine, and you can just download it and turn it on, and that can be very handy. But today we're gonna take the hard way, and we're just gonna go out there and find us an operating system. So we're gonna select Oracle Linux, and then I am going to select the 64-bit version of that, and then I am going to click continue, and you'll see here that they pop up the latest version of Oracle Linux. I happen to know that you need a support contract for this particular version, so I'm going to select an alternate release here. And I'm actually going to go back to Oracle Linux 6.6 because I happen to have a version of this already downloaded, and I don't want to take the literally probably couple of hours it's going to take me to download this today. So go ahead, click continue. It's going to tell me all about the license agreement for downloading this, and it's a good idea to read through this, but in general, Oracle is very friendly to developers and students in using their software for educational purposes. Just don't use it commercially without giving Oracle a great big check. So I'm going to go ahead and click continue there, and you can see it's going to bring up a whole number of downloads I could do here. So these first two options that you see here are actually the source code for the Oracle Linux. It's open source, so you're more than welcome if you're so inclined and have the skills to download the source, and you can alter it if you choose to. Then the middle and the thing that I'm going to want you to download here is the actual disk that will install the operating system, and then the last couple are boot images that you can use for booting up your machine sort of independent of the operating system it has on the disk. So I'm going to go ahead and select this middle version here, and it'll ask me if I want to save it, and then it'll go about saving it. So you can see that this is the 3.6 gigabyte file, so depending on your connection speed and lots of other variables, it can take quite a while to download it. But I happen to already have a version of this local to my machine. But you'll need to download this if you want to create a Linux virtual machine. And I would plan on that taking probably at a bare minimum 30 minutes, and in some cases maybe as long as a couple hours.